I project pretty good. Or do you need it for that?
This will, that was a live stream. Rozumiem, bo ako prosím. Ja nie słucham.
She is pretty tall.
That's a good idea.
She is pretty tall. And you know what? Then she's going to stand on the chair too.
That's good.
Where are you going? Okay, well, tell me where you're going. Don't stand on the chair. Just sit down. Just sit down. Okay.
Then I would take that spot, right, the shortness. Thanks.
Yeah, I got here. I don't know where I can see it here from. Oh, you can see it here from See if there's anybody here I can pick on.
No, because they don't want to.
Leave it there, no problem.
This way, no one else took it. Take someone in.
What? I'm just looking. Come from the ordinary. Want me to clear them out for you? Let's get a little love.
Well, who cooked on, they'll think someone's sitting there.
I should put one right here.
Oh,
That little gift that's holding up the projector.
We never got, we never get to it.
Well, I think he just made it. He just, it's a little pricey. Oh, there's more extension.
Just a public service announcement, lovely cookies all need to go by the end of the night. Okay?
Hi, John. Right here. You want to come here or no? Up to you. Up to you. Up to you. Just stand here so you can see the screen.
Yeah.
Stand over there. You've got so much weight over next to you.
Yeah. See you. My hot water heater got Oh yeah. I got one of those. I had ordered, so me and tomorrow for Thursday. Today. Oh yeah. Today if I crap. It really takes.
Excuse me.
33 years old. Oh yeah. It finally started to leak really bad. It was just dripping the other day, and luckily I was able to order some Ace Hardware right away. There's not. Oh, it's a direct vent. Yeah, it goes right off the side of the house. It's not a power vent. Yeah, they're not very popular. Yeah. The Reliance. It's made by State.
Winter time, and I saw a little smoke from the middle part. almost looks like they accepted
Okay, we need to start. Is everyone good? Everything's great, thank you.
Can you see that? Can you see?
Are just coming in, there's cookies and coffee, there's some other beverages, so please take advantage.
Yeah, I'll have to get a refrigerator, carton to know with this crap. Get Jeff and Steve and help me. All it down. Bring it down. Get it hooked up. I gotta stand it, stuff like that. It's real close to
All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out. You know, when evil strikes, God opens another door. And our door tonight is Special Agent Todd Carroll, who specializes in cybercrime. And I didn't turn my phone off. Do you believe that? And it's a spam call. How about that? Okay. Just a reminder now, go ahead and put your do not disturb buttons on. Yes. So anyway, Todd specializes in cybercrime, and he will definitely go into more detail there, but he is really going to teach us how to protect ourselves. As Greg and I mentioned in our talks this weekend, criminals take advantage of generous people like all of you. And unfortunately, that hit very close to home a couple of weeks ago. And so we want to do everything we can to protect you. So Todd is here with us tonight. Let's start in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the ability to come together and learn from people with special gifts like Todd, and learn how to protect ourselves so that our gifts always go to you and not people who don't need them. We thank you for our fellowship, our time together, and we ask you just to open our eyes, our minds, our hearts to the wisdom that Todd has for us. And we ask our Mother Mary to cover us in your mantle as we say, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Saint Isidore, pray for us. And I present Todd Carroll. Later we will have time for questions, so study.
All right, good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to thank the parish for having me, and hopefully some of my wisdom and what I've learned in my job, I will be able to give you. So a couple ground rules about this. First of all, if I say something that you don't understand, because I talk in jargon or I'm using some kind of slang term, please stop me and go, what are you talking about, okay? This is for you, it's not for me. This isn't a canned thing from the FBI. If you did, you'd be extremely bored, okay? So, I can say that because actually I'm retiring at the end of the year after a little over 20 years with the FBI. So by the time this hits YouTube, my bosses see this, I'll be gone. So, lesson, or rule 2, you've already got it, is laugh at my stupid jokes, and this will go a lot quicker and less painful. So, about myself, actually born and raised in Crystal Lake, went to Crystal Lake Central, class of '86. Nope. Okay. All right. So, actually, Dawn also was a parishioner here. Her and I were classmates. So anyways, born and raised here, went to Western Illinois, then I was in law enforcement for almost 8 years, out in Oakland, California, and Western Springs. Joined the Bureau in '98. Spent a lot of time in DC. Luckily I took my office of preference and moved back here in late '04, in time for my oldest daughter, who's now watching, hopefully online, and studying, but she's watching us right now, who is a sophomore up at Carroll University. No relationship, I don't get any discount tuition, unfortunately, up at Waukesha. So, for her to start kindergarten. So, my wife's here, my mom's here today with us also, but when we moved back in '04, we became parishioners here at St. Thomas and been here ever since. So, for those of you that came to the 10:30 Mass on Sunday, I was in the crowd. I was the guy that Father Kutnick wouldn't out, but he looks at me all the time. So, I watch out for him, so he watched out for me, which is nice. So, with the Bureau, I've spent a lot of time working counterterrorism, counterintelligence, organized crime, but my passion for 6 years, I ran the cyber squad here in Chicago. Learned a lot. The Bureau sent me to a lot of good training, advanced degrees, you name it. Was very fortunate. Now I'm actually the deputy special agent in charge of the office, so more in management now, but I keep up on my cyber skills. So today we're going to talk about cyber defense. We're going to talk about different things. We're talking about the internet. What's it about? What is actually the internet? How do we get to where we are today, right? I'm not going to age everybody here in the crowd, but most of you probably remember using dial-up phones, never having a cell phone, right? Remember the days when actually somebody would call you, leave you a message, and you call them back in a day, and it would be okay, right? Not like now where if you don't answer your phone, they will call your work phone, and they'll call your desk phone, they'll call your home phone, and what are you doing? Why aren't you answering the phone? Not like my wife, but I'm looking at her because she does that to me all the time. Why aren't you answering me? I want to know what you're doing right now, right? Or we used to send stuff to each other in the mail, letters, right? Okay, everything has kind of changed now. We're talking a little bit about that. I'm going to talk about social engineering, which is kind of the key to most of what we are up against today. We're talking about social media, file sharing, gaming, whatever else you want to talk about, hear about, talk about current attacks, and the most important thing we're going to spend the majority of the time is how to protect yourself and your family, especially in this season, and especially because there's so many people out there that want to prey on us because we're good people, right? We want to trust people. A lot of what goes on, bad stuff on the internet, has to do with trust. Okay, plain and simple. But we got to talk a little bit and understand a little bit about if you understand how the internet works and what it's about. So the internet is actually set up, well, by the military for secure communications a long time ago. And I'm going to cover a lot of ground here real quickly and summarize. But then it was really developed in university settings, right? Okay. Anybody here a university professor or taught college? Good. Second question, anybody a lawyer? I'm probably going to insult lawyers that are in the room, but I'll start with college professors, right? In college, they still believe in rainbows and unicorns, right? And everybody on the internet's going to get along and play nice, okay? That's what we want to think, right? We want to do whatever we want online, and we think everybody's going to play by the rules. Well, they don't, okay? So the internet was really set up for not secure communications the way we use it today. Okay, when I get on my banking site, I want it to be secure, right? It's not secure to a point, okay? Why then, if we're using such a secure system, it was every month or every week we have to patch our systems, right? Why does it say, you must shut off your machine? My wife has to close her 40,000 internet browser windows that she has open, and it yells at me because I close it down and I restart the machine so it does all the patching, right? You have to patch, because if you don't patch, okay, all the security flaws that were found out and fixed are not going to be updated on your computer, okay? We'll talk more about the end about patching and all the other good stuff that you're going to do called cyber hygiene, but that is kind of what it boils down to is you've got to be secure. We'll talk, like I said, at the end. The surface web, that's the internet. That's the internet you and I live in, right? The Google, the AOL, for some of you. AOL, that really dates you. EarthNet, right? Link or whatever you have out there. Okay, that's where we live. Okay, what that means is the amount of internet that actually is indexed. It's probably less than 4%. Okay, the dark web is where you don't want to go. That's where a lot of bad things go and a lot of bad things happen. Okay, I'll tell you right now, for you as parents in the room, if your kid is messing around with Tor or the dark web, you got problems. Okay, nothing good happens on the dark web. And I'm going to show you some examples here in a minute. Okay, so if you have Tor on one of your computers, Tor is a system, a way of basically anonymizing yourself and your ability to be on the internet for somebody to find you. Okay, we can still find you. It takes a little bit of longer work, but there's no such thing as being anonymous, even on the internet. The deep web is about 90+% of the internet, and that's all the stuff that is not indexed. Okay, which that means basically is you can't go into Google and type this and this page is going to show up. There's a lot of information on you and I that's floating out there. This could be on shared devices, thumb drives, print servers, just sitting out there, incomplete web pages that Google has looked at and gone, we don't want to index this. Okay? A lot of garbage out there, and it's getting bigger and bigger. Unfortunately, a lot of our private information also floats around out there. Some facts about the internet, 3.8 billion users. Okay? So Google's indexed 35 trillion web pages. 35 trillion, and that's 4% of all the web pages and information that's out there. Almost half of the traffic that's out there is automated. What does that mean? That there's web crawlers out there, there's bots, which are basically machines looking for different things. Some of it's viruses, you name it. Only 8.2% of all users are from North America. Okay? So a penetration rate of 88% in the United States, that means 88% of all Americans have the ability to get on the internet. All right, this is going to be very hard to see, but what this is in an internet minute, what is going on? 1 minute on the internet. Okay, for those of you on Facebook, there's almost 1 million logins per minute, 18 million text messages per minute, almost 500,000 tweets are sent every minute, 2.4 million snaps on Snapchat. Okay, there's a lot of traffic. We live on here. Another interesting one is that there's over $860,000 spent every minute on internet purchases. Okay, so what does this mean? It's not being scary, it's just saying this is where we live, right? Okay, how many of you took part in Cyber Monday? Got online and bought stuff, right? We did. We spent a lot of time on there. In fact, well, no, I can't say that because my daughters are probably watching, so I'm not going to tell you what. Nice try. You almost got me, but you didn't. Okay, so, we take advantage of Cyber Monday and the sales, right? It's almost to the point where you can do your Christmas shopping and never leave home, all right? Amazon can go ahead and send you whatever. In fact, I was just sitting at dinner at Fire Bar with my one daughter and my mom and my wife and watched on my Ring doorbell remotely FedEx deliver a cabinet that I ordered online 2 days ago. A piece of furniture. I'm hoping it's in one piece. Probably not, probably have to go back, but it's amazing now what we can do and never leave our homes. Okay, or I can sit at Fire Bar and watch who's at my doorbell or at my doorstep, right? But just it's kind of being to understand what we're doing and kind of what's out there, right? Okay, now I talked about the dark web. To give you one example here of a case that the FBI broke down about a year and a half ago or so, involving the online shopping Silk Road. Okay, so the good thing about the dark web, where most of our information is sitting illegally, right? So there's been studies out there that our data has been taken maybe tenfold. So each one of us, our data is somewhere out there tenfold on the dark web. The good news, the dark web is not really indexed. Okay? You can't go to, there's not a Google for the dark web. You have to know the IP address of where you're going to go. And one of those was Silk Road. Okay, it's a place that you could go if you were invited to. You could go online and you could shop. Unfortunately, these are the kind of things that you could buy. Okay, Valium, Oxycontin, pure crystal meth, okay, human growth hormones, okay, Dutch weed, grown in Italy, okay. You could buy a lot of drugs. You could buy firearms, 9mm machine pistol with silencer, okay? And using Bitcoin or any other type of online currency, you can go ahead and buy this, and they would use the U.S. Postal Service and send it to your house if they didn't pick it, if U.S. Postal Service didn't pick it up, okay? That's why we closed them down. Last year seized the site. We actually ran it for a little bit to catch some other bad guys, and then we shut it down, okay? As soon as we shut it down, somebody else popped up, okay? It's a constant battle of whack-a-mole with these guys, okay? Because there's a lot of money to make out there. This is the only example of what's out there on the dark web, okay? It's chock full of drugs, guns, stolen property, your stolen data, pornography, you name it. Stuff that we have no business messing around with, okay? Yes, sir.
What do you mean by a hidden site?
Has been seized. Okay, this hidden site, because it was a tour. I think that's why it was within tour. When we seized it, there were a lot of banners that went up on the site to show people that, hey, this site has been seized. And it was hidden because, just because I think the anonymous, like, hey, you think it's hidden? It's not. We actually were in it for a while, capturing traffic and people that were buying illegal materials. Okay, but we only do it for a short period because they're buying stuff like guns, drugs, and man. Okay? I can't stress enough that if you have Tor, or if your kids are messing around on Tor, there's nothing good going on the dark web.
You say T-O-U-R?
T-O-R.
T-O.
Tor?
Okay? Tor. T-O-R. Okay? You'll see a browser. If you see a Tor browser, T-O-R browser, or the Onion router. And what Onion router means is just what it does is basically it bounces around an anonymous network, or they make it anonymous by that your IP address when you log in, instead of going to Google or whatever internet browser you use, it goes and bounces around the world, the different web browsers that people have set up, anonymous, to mask your identity so that you can go to sites like this, make your purchase, and have it delivered to your house, or to a P.O. box, or whatever it may be, okay? So, any indicators like that, we're going to get off the dark web here in a minute, but there's nothing really good going on there. Okay, we're going to talk about social engineering. Can't stress enough how bad what social engineering, all it is a tool. It's just the clever manipulation of the natural human tendency to trust. We want to trust everybody else, right? When you came in today, you held the door open probably for somebody because you trust them, that they're a parishioner here, they want to come to this talk, and they're not coming in here to do us harm. Right? We are trusting people. And that's right, we should be, okay? Unfortunately, there's people out there that will make a lot of money and take advantage of our trust. Social engineering, all it is me getting something out of you, and I'm going to try to fool you somehow, okay? So, how many here still get solicitor calls? All right, everybody, right? Now, you don't have to raise your hand. You fell for this one. Okay, how many of you sit at home at night during dinner and the phone rings? Okay, home phone or your cell phone? Yes, we still have a home phone. I'll comment later on that off the camera and off the mic. Why we still have a home phone? But, and somebody calls you and you pick it up and they're selling something. And you go, wow, this is awesome. I've been waiting for someone like you to call. That's what I need. And you buy it. Has anybody ever done that in here? Don't raise your hand. Right? All right? Because it's not. I guarantee that probably 80 to 90% of that is somebody trying to get information out of you. Social engineering. Okay? But they still keep calling, so it's, somebody's out there either saying yes to everything, okay, or it's part of what we call a phishing scheme. All they're doing is phishing you to give up something that you probably, if you thought about it, you're going to go, no, I don't think so, right? Same thing when you get emails, right? Or you get something from your bank, or you get that phone call and somebody says, hey, there's something wrong with you or your computer or your bank account. I need this from you. Okay, if you thought about it for more than 15 seconds, you probably wouldn't say anything. All it is what can I do to get you to trust you think that I'm from your bank? I'm from Microsoft. I'm from the government, right? I'll tell you right now, the government's not going to call you. They're not going to serve a warrant for you over the internet, over your phone or whatever, okay? When you see us, you'll know you'll see us, all right? We'll get your door, it'll be 6 a.m. Nothing good happens at 6 a.m., okay? We love 6 a.m. You pound on your door, make a lot of noise, and then, that's it, okay? But we don't call you and say, turn yourself in or whatever, okay? Don't worry about the IRS, okay? If it sounds weird, it's not right, okay? No one's gonna call you or have you pay off your IRS debt or your back taxes by going down to Target and getting gift cards, okay? It's stuff that you gotta use that superpower we all have, which is common sense, all right? Think about it. Do not react to anything. If they're asking for you to make a decision right now and give up information, 99% of the time it's a scam. Okay? That's what they want you to do. And that's what social engineering is about. Okay? What type of scams are out there? The romance scam. Okay? Believe me, there's a million of these. We can talk all day about these scams, but probably these are some of the bigger ones that we see lately. Romance scam, what is that? They will take advantage of people who want to meet other people, okay? Unfortunately or unfortunately, I've been married for 24 years. Okay, thank you. There's people are lonely. They want to meet others, right? Where do you meet people nowadays? Okay? Sometimes you meet them on the internet, right? Dating service or whatever, okay? And they'll go there and they'll take advantage, okay? They'll look too good to be true, okay? They'll start a conversation and then, things will progress. They'll always have an excuse not to meet, or they're overseas and they're a traveler or something that's exotic and sounds really cool. And, and then people that we want to trust and we want to have, relationships, human relationships. We want to interact with other people, okay? But then they'll go, well, hey, by the way, could you help me out? Okay? That's where we need to be careful. Okay? We have that happen. It's unfortunate when we see these because usually it involves, hey, send me money, I'm in trouble. Or could you give me a loan? Or, hey, would you mind if I ship this item to you and then could you send it on to somebody else? I'm in between addresses right now. Red flags should be going off. If it doesn't sound right, the little hairs on the back of your neck are sticking up, it's for a reason, okay? How many of you got the phone call? Great phone call. I'm from Microsoft, and there's something wrong with your computer. All right? My kids enjoy when I get the phone call at home. I won't tell you what happens at the end of the phone call, because I usually get pretty upset, and we are in church, and I feel bad for using certain language that I end up using, but I get upset with these because it preys on people, okay? What they want you to do when it comes to these virus text support calls, or if you get the screen that says, you've got a virus, don't unplug your computer, unplug your computer immediately. All right, what do they want you to do? Do the opposite. 99% of the time, it's a scam, okay? Unless, of course, you've got ransomware and your computer's encrypted, and then we'll talk about that here down the road, okay? But it doesn't matter. Unplug your computer, okay? What they want you to do, usually when they call you and say, we're from Microsoft, they're not from Microsoft. Microsoft will never call you. They want your money. They're not going to call you and be nice and say, hey, we think we've detected something wrong with your computer. They don't do that. It's not the way it works, okay? What they want you to do is go down, they want you to open up what we call a run box, a command line. They want you to type something in there. We'll give them control of your computer. At that point, they'll put in probably a keylogger. They will capture every in, looking for you to put your passwords in. They go to you go in, log into your bank, your IRA, your 401k, whatever it may be, what's important to you, and then they go ahead and take your money, okay? That's all it's about. It's all about how do they get something out of you that they can monetize, okay? No, just hang on. No, I mess with them because I like to mess with them, and I do that. I mean, I put solicitors in the drawer. I go, oh, hang on a second, let me talk to you, and I put them in the drawer, and I close the drawer, and I walk away. So, I just my little victories, okay? Keep me going. Banking, right? Your bank is never gonna call you, okay, and say there's a problem, okay? If you get an email from your bank that says there's a problem, log in. Don't. Never click on any link from somebody you think that you have to trust that comes in an email, period. Okay? If your bank hits you up and says there's a problem with your account, do the old-fashioned way. Pick up the phone, call the bank. Is there a problem? Okay? Because one, they'll tell you if there's a problem. You're now talking to a human that you dialed the number of a number you know that you probably already had. Okay? You're not going off anything on that email. And two, if it's false, you just told the bank they got a problem. Because they're going to say, well, there is no problem. So, well, I got an email. They're going to say, uh-oh, would you forward that to us? We need to notify our customers. Okay? So you did two things. Protected yourself and you stopped probably the bad guys. Okay? Because they're going to be able to do things that would block that. Okay? People are just not going to, that's not the way they communicate. If you got a bank out there that's how they do communicate with you is by sending you, you know, link in here, click on this, then you probably time to get another bank. Okay? Greeting cards, same thing. Oh, somebody sent you a nice greeting card. Click on this. Okay? Don't click on it. Okay? Somebody wants to send you a Christmas card or whatever, and then now they're going to go completely electronic. Send a text message saying, hey, how about something in the mail? If you can't afford a stamp, I'll send it to you. Okay? Anything you click on. So here's an example, right? So you're bored on a Friday afternoon. You're sitting either at work, you're at home, and somebody sends you an email and says, and it looks like a trusted source, right? But I can send you, any one of you, an email with a little variety looking at your social media, and I bet I could take my way into getting you to think that I'm somebody else. It's that easy, okay? So you're going to get an email from somebody, and it's going to say, or maybe it's from me. Hey, thanks for attending my talk. Here, click on this, okay? See this video. It talks about the internet, and it's a dancing cat. Who doesn't want to see a dancing cat on a Friday afternoon when you're bored, right? I do, okay? I need a good laugh on a Friday afternoon, because I work for the government. Okay, so what you're going to do is your mind is saying, I want to see a dancing cat. Okay? What your finger and your mouse button is saying is go ahead and click, go ahead, I approve everything that's behind that link. Okay? Computers are not smart. Okay? You have to be smarter than the computer. The computer is a gateway for you to look at things. Okay? Or to do certain things. But you are still the smarter one in the room. Okay? Your mind, remember, you're saying dancing cat. The computer's going, this dude just gave me permission to do whatever's behind this link. What you probably just did was you clicked on it. You hope you're going to get to see a dancing cat. And what you might have done is said, it's okay to go ahead and download that virus. It's okay to download that keylogger. It's okay to, you know, put a bot on there or something that's going to encrypt my hard drive. Okay, and turn my computer into a brick. You got to think that way. That's why we tell you do not click on links. Okay? My father-in-law, who's probably not watching this, he's on state.
Yes, he is.
Okay? Is he? Well, okay, Ed, this is for you. Stop sending me emails. I do not open up any attachments he sends me because I know what he sends. Okay? And I'm always over fixing his computer. Why? Because he keeps clicking on stuff.
Does that only happen over email, or can it happen over text too?
Can it happen over, so the question is, can it happen over text or just over emails? So part of when you click on something, it has to also, without being too technical, it has to interact with your browser, right? Or it has to interact with the machine and with the operating system you're using. So if I'm on my phone and it's you know, I'm clicking on something that was cut and paste from the internet, let's say, but it's not going to attack my Apple iOS, or it's not set up to take advantage of that because I have a you know, something on there that can be exploited, then no, it won't work. But that's why everybody, you know, for those who own Macs, right? How many of you bought those Macs in the first place? They're like, oh, because Macs don't have viruses. Okay, no, it's the majority of the time, years and years ago, most exploits and viruses and worms and all that good stuff was set up to attack the Windows operating system. It's not like that anymore, okay? Everybody's an equal opportunity target, okay? So just be careful. If you're on a phone or if you are on a Chromebook with no storage, click away, right? If it's got no place to put that key logger, then it can't sit on your machine. Okay, we'll talk about that later. Okay, no one in here has won the lottery. No one is related to a Nigerian prince, at least in this room, right? Okay? We're not going to win anything that we didn't apply for. Okay? Sorry, that's just the way things are, okay? It's all scams, right? So we used to get the letters at home, all right? I'm so-and-so, I can't get my money out because of whatever. They give the excuse of whatever's going on in the world, okay? These also boil down to the scams of every time there's a natural disaster. I am from the Red Cross, please help us.
You have a question right here.
Yep.
The latest one I've seen is the lawyer from wherever saying that your relatives,
Yep.
whatever inheritance is available and blah, blah,
Right.
blah.
Exactly, so there's always something out there, right? The lawyer that representing the relative that you didn't know you had, who was rich and, you know, and you're the only living heir, right? You know, payday's coming, right? No, it's not, okay? If anything, you're gonna lose at the end, okay? It's all about either clicking on the link or contacting it. Oh, well, you need to give us your bank account. You need to give us $2,000 deposit. You need to do this. And that's where, wait a second, usually when I, you know, scratch off the lottery ticket at the gas station and I give it to them, they say, we'll give you 50 cents before I give you your dollar, right? They don't do that. So things don't happen like that, right? Okay? So part of this is common sense, part of this is maybe step back a few minutes. Maybe open up a web browser and put in whatever email you just got and the word scam. The internet's going to tell you. The great thing about the internet, one of the good things, besides there's a lot of, so let me back up a second. This is going to be very doom and gloom, this whole talk, right? I don't want to be walking out of here going, I'm going home, ripping out the internet, never getting online again, all right? There is some very good things out there, okay? The ability for us to pull out our phones and look up a piece of information at our fingertips is amazing, right? Stuff that we used to be able to do or go to the library, right? And have to look up and, you know, do research and all that stuff, you know? What how they're teaching nowadays is so changed from what I was used to because we have that information at our fingertips. So please don't take this as, you know, internet bad, go home, stop using it. You just need to be careful, okay? So I want to make sure I make that clear. So, of course, I just lost my train of thought. So, and the last one we already talked about government fear, stuff like that, okay? Don't worry about it. We're not said. If you're in trouble, you know, we still like to put the silver bracelets on you. We don't like to say, come on down to our office and we'll have some coffee and donuts and talk about it. We don't talk about it. All right, what are common attacks out there? Phishing. Just talk about it. It's you being targeted for a reason, whether you're an individual, okay, or you're a group, and you get a phishing email. All it is that I am sending you something because I want information. It might be your bank account. It may be something else. It may be for you who are still working. It may be because you work for a certain company. Because if I can get my foothold into your network by catching your credentials, okay, basically your password, your login, then I can move around once I'm inside your network, okay? Hopefully, for those who are still in the workforce, you're using a thing called two-factor authentication. If your company's not, they're wrong. Okay, what that means is that in addition to your login, which I can guess probably by you knowing your name, what your login is, and your password is probably something that once I capture it once, it's probably you're using it at or a variation for everything else at home, right? Unless you're like us, where we have a book with every single password that's different for every different site, because I can't remember probably 55 or plus different passwords and logins for everything from, you know, Bed Bath & Beyond all the way up to my 401k, okay? Some I protect more than others, okay? So unless you're using, you know, you've got to make your password tough. But there's password crackers out there that if I know enough about you that I can put up against your system and probably guess your password. Okay, two-factor authentication is then something else. It may be a text message that says, put in the 6-digit code. It may be a token. We carry tokens at work, an RSA token that changes the 6-digit number every I think it's 30 seconds. Okay? We have that on our phones also. So it's just an extra level of step. I'm not saying do that for everything, for like, you log into Bed Bath & Beyond. Okay? You don't need two-factor authentication for that. If somebody gets that and steals my coupons or my wife's coupons, who cares? In fact, please take them. Right? Just because we have 20% off doesn't mean we spend 20% more, right? You guys with me? No? Okay. Okay. BEC, business email compromise. For those that are still in the workforce, business email compromise is basically social engineering. I am going to get your company to not follow their policies by me pretending to be somebody very important in your company. Send an email to somebody who does probably the bills or whatever, and I'm going to get them to circumvent probably all the policies that two people need to check this, the same person can't do this or this, and I'm going to have them send money to someplace that they shouldn't. Okay? This is going on. We're losing a lot of money in the United States because people are falling for this. Okay? Because if you get a call from somebody you know is the head of your organization and they're saying, hey, I'm on the road, I have a business deal going on, I need you to send $500,000, this is what happens, I'm not exaggerating, to this bank account. You're like, well, I like my job, even though this is, I'm not going to correct the CEO or, Mr. Schmucky Schmuck and tell him, no, this isn't the way we do things, like, okay, you have to fill out the right forms. He's going to tell you, fill out the form that says unemployment, they should hit the door, right? So they're using fear and intimidation, and they say the right things or sound, I don't know, you ever talk to the bad guy on the phone? I don't know what he sounds like, right? So you don't know. So a part of it is social engineering, trust, to get you to do something you don't want to do, or you shouldn't do, okay? The good news for those who are, if your company falls for this, and it is an international transfer, and you call the FBI within 72 hours, we can stop this. We can usually stop the transfer. Okay, since it's on the internet, I won't tell you how, but we can. Ransomware is basically you turn your machine into a brick by encrypting it. Okay, it's usually on a website you shouldn't. Some malware is put on your machine. It basically encrypts it. You're never going to be able to break it. NSA is not going to be able to break it, and they're going to ask for something in return. Okay? Then that falls into what have you done and what's on that machine. Okay? The so what factor, which I'll talk about here in a little bit, is what's on that machine that I have to have that machine back. Or do I say, well, probably shouldn't have clicked on that, lesson learned, throw it in the trash and buy yourself a new computer. Okay? Or you can pay the bad guys in gift cards, maybe get your machine unlocked, okay, but you have no idea what's on there now. Okay? Because if they had the ability to encrypt it, they had the ability to put whatever they want on it. Man in the middle, eavesdropping, okay? For those who like to go sit at the Starbucks, oh, good, it's not on your But then again, I think he still has a flip phone, so he doesn't fall for this, because he doesn't have Wi-Fi on his phone, and you decide to use the free Wi-Fi at wherever, McDonald's, the airport, Starbucks. Unless you're just checking the scores on ESPN or CNN or whatever news you like to watch, you better not be doing anything critical. Because I can go down to Starbucks, I can set up a man in the middle real quick. Right now I can open up my iPhone browser and see which one of your accounts are insecure. Okay? I can make it look like something that it's not, and you'll connect through me to get on your Wi-Fi. It's free. No, nothing's for free. Okay? I'm very pessimistic, but I'll tell you right now, nothing is for free when it comes to this stuff. Okay? Don't. Okay? If you have a data plan on your phone, now it's more affordable than ever. 5 years ago, this was much easier, much bigger problem because, unlimited data is now pretty easy, or it's kind of built into a lot of packages. If you don't have unlimited data, you really need to be careful what you're connecting to. It may say Starbucks, but it could be my machine just picking off your traffic and waiting for you to put that password in there for me to capture it. Okay? Adware, spam, stuff like that, Back to don't click on anything, okay? If something pops up on your web browser and that looks good, hey, wow, I didn't know Kohl's is having a sale. Awesome, I'm gonna click on that 20% coupon. All right, don't do it, okay? All right, if you wanna go to their website and see if they have a 20% coupon, that's great, okay? But adware and spam like that is chock full of problems, okay? The web browsers, the companies that put that stuff out there, try to keep up with it. They try to protect us as consumers. There's a lot of bad stuff out there, though, unfortunately. Okay, I'm sorry you probably can't see this. So I got this the other day on my phone. an email, my web account, it says, from survey, Kohl's customer. Did you forget your $100 Kohl's reward is waiting? Wow. All right, we spent a lot of money at Kohl's, so, okay. If you can see this closer, there's a lot of flags on this to determine it's probably not right. Okay, one is, everybody ever seen a Kohl's gift card that looks like that? No, believe me, I've seen a lot of Kohl's cash, Kohl's whatever come through my house. Also, the address underneath it, it doesn't look right. It looks different, the fonts. I mean, Kohl's is a big corporation, right? You think they'd spring for somebody that knows what they're doing on an email, right? Easy way to do this. This is off my iPhone, okay? All I did was I clicked on survey Kohl's customer. It's got that little arrow next to it. What that does is say, show me that email address, okay? There we go. That's what popped up. Survey Kohl's customer. That's the email address. Does that look like Kohl's to you? Okay, stseesthestay.com, whatever that means, okay? Whatever it is, I know it's not Kohl's. Okay, it's fake. Okay, this is a pretty easy one for us to determine. There are sophisticated out there. But if you got an Apple, iOS, an Apple phone, little trick, all you gotta do on the email, just click on the from. Okay, click on the little thing, and it'll pop up who the email address is from. Same thing when somebody else is sending you an email that you think is trusted. It's usually ways around it, but majority of the time, the real email address is going to pop up. Okay? So, it'll work on an iPad too. For those who use Android phones, can't help you. I got one through work. I hate it. I can't wait to get rid of it at the end of the year. So I'm sorry. Don't do much with this. Yeah. So. Okay. All right. So let's go through the protection. Okay. The meat and potatoes. Okay. The so what factor. You've got to ask yourself what's important to you. What are you doing online that's so important? Okay. I know what's important to me. My banking, access to my retirement accounts. Okay? Those are the two things that are most important. If somebody wants to get in my, you call it dumb Yahoo email account that I get stupid jokes from my college buddies from, so what? Right? Maybe a little embarrassed because they're juvenile usually, but I can't help what they send to me. But I am not going to spend my time and my resources trying to protect everything, because you're not going to be able to. I'll tell you that right now. Okay? You've got to ask yourself, what's most important? If it's your bank account, okay? If your password is password, or some variation of password, you're wrong, okay? Because that is still the most popular password out there, is password. I'll be smart, I just won't use vowels. Okay? That's the second most popular, okay? That's where you have the complex, sophisticated password with characters and everything else. The more uppercase, lowercase, special characters, numbers you put in a password, the harder it is to crack. Okay? If yours is 8 letters, okay, it's something I can find in the dictionary, I can crack it under a second. Okay? Not me. Anybody. I can go right now on this, I can show you how to do it, but I'm not going to. There's some young minds in here that I want to, be responsible for. And you can download a password cracker. Okay? It's not that hard to use. If you can sit in the right place, you can direct it and you can crack a password. That's why I use those special characters. You want to use password for your Kohl's, so be it.
What about if your computer gives you a suggestion, and it looks like it's a complicated,
Yep.
are those okay? Or?
So you gotta be careful because that's being stored on that computer, right? So Apple's big with that. Do you want to use password? Ooh, it's like, whoa, that's impressive. Okay? You gotta ask yourself, how is that being stored on your computer? Okay? So if somebody gets access to your computer that we call a root level, which is basically the admin user level, then they can probably get in that. Okay? I would look up to see how is that stored. Does Apple encrypt that file? Do you encrypt that file? So if it does get taken, is that protected from you? Okay? There's a lot of services out there that you can buy that will basically, you only have to know one password. All right? And then it generates new passwords for you, complex, and also stores those passwords for you. Okay? The bad thing about that, if you get that one password, you're done, right? Because it's, every other password you have is sitting in there, and it's not gonna be something you generated, all right? Just be careful. I mean, I know a lot of people use those. The problem is if you share passwords with a lot of different people, okay? Like my wife and I share passwords for, all these different sites. It makes it a little more difficult to do. Some of them cost money. This is something I would probably spend money on. Okay? There's a lot of free stuff out there that's very good. But when it comes to protecting your passwords, I probably, might be worth a few bucks to go ahead and
Do you save it so your computer remembers it, or you shouldn't do that either?
depends what it is, right? My banking, no. If it's, what was I on earlier? One of these, not even shopping sites where I store a credit card. Just I get better deals, whatever. What do I care, right? It goes back to the so what factor. Do I really, what bad thing is going to happen if I lose control of this account? Okay, because sometimes it is, right, it's really annoying and you can't remember and it takes you longer to reset the password, you do all this, you play that dance, whatever, but you get it done. So that's what you really have to ask yourself every time. So what? So what if I lose this?
You hear you should be regularly changing your password. How often should you really change your password?
So the question is how often should you really be changing your password, right? You had asked me that 2 years ago. I think the standard was every 90 days, right? No one changes their email or their passwords unless they're enforced by whatever, like at work, okay? Even we, though, have changed where we're changing our passwords at longer distances, okay? Depends on what you're using, right? Do you think there's a problem with your machine? Do you think that password got compromised? Is it sophisticated? Is it long, okay? If the answer is no, if you're sitting in your head going, wow, I got a password, or I got Bears #1, we hope this year, right? Okay? Or Go Cubs, or something about the Sox that I won't say in this room. But if that's your password, then you should be going, maybe I need to go home and change it, okay? It should be something sophisticated. Like I said, if it's something I can open a dictionary and just add a number to it, it can be cracked very easy. If you start using special characters, make it longer, okay? Go ahead and do that. But you should really think about for those things that are important. Do they ask for something else? Do they ask for an additional PIN? Like my banking site not only asks for a password, it asks, for login, it asks for a password, and then it asks for a PIN separately. Okay, that's a version of two-factor authentication. Not the strongest, but it's something additional that I have to know to put in there. So you need to ask yourself that.
Is there a length of password you would recommend that makes it possible to crack?
No, I mean, any length, the longer it is, the better. But the longer it is, the more chance you're going to forget what it is. Right? 12. I mean, that's a problem. Yeah, 12 characters is usually probably pretty decent if you're using special characters, upper, lowercase, and a number at times. Okay? So, protect what is critical, identify and monitor what's important to you. Okay? How many of you just pay the bill when it comes in, the Visa bill? Okay? Or do you literally open it up and go, okay, that looks right. If you're not doing that, you need to. Just because things are automated, just so they give you $5 off your bill for, going to e-billing or whatever it may be, you still need to look at it. Because the first indicator that your identity or your credit has been taken or your credit card has is going to be $1 charge here, $1 charge there. So they're testing the card to see if it's still active. Okay? You need to look at each one of those and go, yeah, I did that, yeah, oh, okay? Believe me, you don't have that problem in the house. I have lunch someplace, I get a call 5 minutes later from my wife, you just eat here? Okay? Like, yeah, I went out to lunch. Okay, so make sure a credit card. Okay? Float, that was a joke. People laugh, right? Okay? But you need to identify and monitor. You need to run your credit at least twice a year. Okay? To be the first indicator that something happened, even though Equifax just got hit and TransUnion's been hit, all of them, you still need to use them and request that free stuff that's still coming towards you every year. Run your credit, take a look at it. Okay? How many of you currently have credit monitoring because of a breach? Okay, I've got so many credit monitoring now because I've been breached so many times between the 3 different hospitals and OPM. Okay? And then I get an alert on my phone, I go in, I look at it, it's usually because we made an inquiry for a new line of credit or something like that, maybe, okay? But it's something, okay? All right, it's, yes, sir?
How about pushing freezing credit?
Okay, freezing credit, that's great. If you want to freeze your credit because you know you're not going to be making any purchases, go for it. But if you freeze your credit and then you go out to buy a car, good luck, okay? Getting it unfrozen to make that purchase, you got to really set it up either ahead of time or you're not going to be able to make any, you know, like if you're at the furniture store, you're like, oh, you're spending X amount of money. You know, if you open up a credit card here, you get 18 months off. But, you know, we close in 5 minutes. It ain't going to happen, okay? Unfreezing your credit or getting, because it's going to be the work. They're going to call and go like, hey, I'm freezing my credit. You're like, yeah, right. Who's this? Okay? You got to jump through some extra hoops. But if you're not going to be making any big purchases, it is a good idea. You can do it. Just there's a downsides to it. Make sure you understand fully what's going to happen. Okay? Like I said, monitor what you have. Monitor your credit. Monitor your bills. Make sure they're not sneaking anything else in there. There's a lot of convenience that sometimes you look back and go, well, that was convenient, but that cost me this amount of money because I wasn't paying attention. Okay? Protect yourself. You can keep going. Use of social media. Be aware of what you look like out there. Okay? A lot of us are on social media. I get it. All right? It's something that younger generation, that's great. We've embraced, I know I've embraced some of it. I use it. But this is whether we like it or not, you know. When our kids first started getting their phones and, you know, started to use social media, I'm like, get off the phone, I can't believe it. Why don't you call them and talk to them? Well, we don't talk, we Snapchat and Instagram and all that other good stuff. It's just something that, you know, sorry, that's the way society is today. We can either try to change it, but I don't think we're going to change it, right? So that's the way people communicate. But you got to know what you look like out there. Okay, remember, there's nothing out there, there's no delete button on the internet. Okay? You call me and say, oh my God, this happened, Todd. All right? We accidentally did this, or my 12-year-old did this. Okay? It's out there, and it will be out there forever. Yeah, you can try to delete it. You can go to the companies and ask them to remove it. But once it's out there on the internet, it's out there. It's gone. Okay? It goes to so many different sites. It goes to so many different areas. You know, the information is just out there. There's no delete button. I have no magic button in my office to delete anything off the internet, unfortunately. Okay? You got to be careful what you put out there. And that's false education of our youth, right? We have to be involved. Period. Okay? You know? Okay, there's no real youngsters here, and there's nobody doing it, so I'll say it. And how many times you go in a restaurant and there's the adults talking and the kids are on devices? Okay? Because maybe it's convenient. Okay? So if they're not doing that, they're doing something else. What are they doing? Are they involved? Are you monitoring what are they doing? You know? They're getting younger and younger where they can take a device and get onto YouTube and look at videos. And they know what to type in. Okay? I'm not saying that's bad, but are we as parents paying attention to what they're doing and where they're going? Okay? Because these sites, that stuff that we don't want our children to see or be exposed to at a young age, ain't hard to get to. Okay? So unfortunately, on certain social media sites, it's out there also. Just got to be involved, right? Be paying attention, but you got to look at what you look like. Okay? For anybody in this room that says they're not on the grid, which means they're not on the internet, unfortunately, you are. Unless you are, you know, you're the only person in your family and have been for the last 30 years, somebody's outed you on the internet. Okay? Whether you like it or not, and that's just the way it is. Okay? People are out there, they're going to comment about what you do or whatever. Makes my job interesting because, you know, as facial recognition and stuff like that, it makes it more and more difficult for us to have undercover agents and stuff like that because, you know, pictures are out there. Somebody said, oh, I'm very proud of my uncle who's in law enforcement. Okay? That could be a risk down the road. Okay? So it's stuff that we have to be aware of, but also you got to Google yourself once in a while, right? You got to run your name, run your home address. probably be sitting down when you do it because you're going to be shocked at how much information is out there about you. Okay, but if you bought and sold a house, McHenry County's probably outed you on the internet, where you live and how much you paid for your house. Before we used to dig through newspapers, go to the library to find out stuff about people. Now we just go to there. FBI, first place we started is social media. Okay, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't cry, hey, I'm a private person. You can't say that about me when you're out there doing whatever you're doing and putting it all over the internet. Okay, that's not the way things unfortunately work. Okay, we catch a lot of bad guys because of what they do on social media. So what's the purpose of social media? Telling everybody you know what you've done, how you did it, right? So when you go traveling, right? How many of you ever got a phone call from somebody you thought, or somebody you went overseas, you got a call from a complete stranger saying that person's been in an accident overseas. Please send me $1,000 or we can't treat him at the hospital. How'd that happen, right? What do? They get off the plane, any plane to Europe nowadays, you get off the plane, it's 9 in the morning, right? You stagger to your hotel, drop your stuff off. They tell you, oh, check-in is at, 7:30 at night, right? It's always, that's the way it is, right? It's always you're not going to sit around. So you say, can you store my bag? While you're arguing with the front desk about, hey, call me when my room is ready. Your loved ones have gotten on free Wi-Fi, we talked about before. You log into Facebook and say, hey, here we are in London, and you're not. Okay? And then they log off, and they go, and you guys go mess around for a day. Man in the middle attack, guy sitting there, collected all that Facebook login. Logged in, grabbed all your email addresses from your friends, sent them emails saying, you've been in an accident, you're in London. Send me money. We said that all the time. People would call saying, hey, we need FBI's help. My relative's been in an accident. I need $7,000. Don't send $1,000, it's a scam. And they're like, I'm sending it anyways. They may be in trouble. That's not the way the health system works, okay? Especially in, nations like England, okay? If you're bleeding, they're gonna take care of you. They'll come after you later, right? A lot of things out there. This is how these scams work. Like I said, take a look at yourself, see what you look like online. Talk about engaged with the family, okay, especially with young ones. You gotta talk about the internet. You gotta talk about usage of the internet. You gotta control their ability of what they're doing, okay? You set the age. Don't ask me what age your kid should be before they have a phone, or should they have a computer in their room. I can't tell you. That's up to you, okay? The FBI does not recommend, whatever. I can tell you what we did as a family was that when my kids got phones was because, one, there's not a pay phone, and if they had to do something after school where there's limited adults, we got them a phone, okay? But those phones were charged in our room. And guess what? They're under 18, and they had zero expectation of privacy. I'm paying the bills, all right? You want privacy? You pay the bill. All right? And really quickly, it's like, okay, you're going to do your phone. All right, what's the password? And oh, by the way, your social media accounts, write your passwords down in the book. Okay? That's different. The older one's 19, but, I won't say, she thinks I know everything, which I do. So, I can find out everything. So, just remember that. But you are the parent, right? You can't do that. Yeah, you can. And you should. Okay? Because it's not necessarily what your kid's doing, it's what somebody else may be sending to your kid, or the text message they're sending, or the bullying that's going on. Okay? And they're doing it through these devices. You just got to pay attention to what's going on and engage them in conversations about that. Okay? You want them to, if they're coming to you and saying, hey, I clicked on this and boy, then you're probably heading down the right road, because they're going to click on something they shouldn't. Okay? One of the best things we did was buy Chromebooks for our kids. Ones with no storage, which means that they can't really store anything. So instead of them, and now most Crystal Lake schools, I believe, actually issue Chromebooks. Well, we bought them for our kids for their use also, because instead of them looking at whatever they're looking at or watching, as I catch my high schooler looking at YouTube videos or watching movies on there instead of doing her homework, she's not doing it on my machine that I'm doing my banking on. Okay? So, with a Chromebook, if there's no storage on it, I can't put a keylogger on that necessarily. Okay? 95% of the time you can't. Okay? But I'm telling you right now, it's the same way with at home. okay? As you drive home tonight, take a look at your neighborhood. When I was a police officer, I used to go and do neighborhood watch talks, all right? And I tell people, drive through your neighborhood at midnight. What does your house look like? Is the outside lights on? Do you have 6 newspapers laying in your driveway because you don't want to walk to your driveway? Okay? Is the bushes overgrown in front of your window? Now, what does your neighbor's house look like? If I'm a bad guy, I'm a burglar, I'm going to go to their neighbor's house with all the newspapers so I know when they've been out because they're too lazy to cancel the newspapers. Okay? And I can stand behind their 6-foot evergreen that they haven't trimmed in front of their window and break in all day long. Okay? Or am I going to mess with your house that has the lights on at night? Okay? That I don't know if somebody's home. And you have that sticker in your window that says ADT, whether or not you have a security system or not. Okay? That's called doing something basic that's going to keep the bad guys away from you. Same thing with being on the internet, right? Do those simple little things that's going to drive, because believe me, there's a million people out there that are not protecting themselves. Do you do that basic cyber hygiene? Do you have antivirus? Okay? Whether you pay for it or not, it's up to you. Okay? Is it effective? Yeah, it is. Somewhere between 5 and 70% is effective, depending on which paper you want to read today. Okay? But it's better than nothing. Okay? Is your home network available to everybody? Is it open? Have you changed the default password? Please tell me you changed the default password. Okay? People don't. They just leave the default password on there, which is usually, thank you, password, right? Okay? Don't let somebody, your neighbor, or your neighbor's, kid who's messing around on something he shouldn't be, on your network. Okay? I can tell you horror stories about where we've kicked in doors at 6 a.m. because of bad things happening, and it happened to be the neighbor next door who was stealing that person's Wi-Fi and doing really, really bad things on the internet. Okay? But when we ran the IP address, it came back to your home. And we had a legitimate search warrant signed by a judge. Okay? And they, well, I never changed my password. And then we pull up the router and we show them, hey, look at everybody that's on your network right now. You're paying to support the whole neighborhood. We've been in houses where they're like, yeah, I leave it open for a reason. Because I, fight the big machine. Well, the big machine, now you just have the FBI sitting at your doorstep, at 6 a.m. So, are you using a VPN, virtual private network? Depends what you're doing online, right? Yeah, if you're doing a lot of work from home and it's secure, or you want it to be secure and your company's really worried about it, they're going to pay for it. You should ask about it. Okay? I talked about Wi-Fi also. Nothing is for free. Let's see if we talked about, look at the fine print here. Doing updates, right? We talked about patching before. And then when a machine says, please shut down and update, do it. Okay? When the patches come out, it's a race between you to patch your machine and the bad guys to take advantage of that exploit on your machine. Okay? So it's a race. The sooner you do it, the sooner you get the update, right? What do I get from my kids all the time? Oh, Apple hit me up. Do I need to really do that update? My phone runs slow now. It's better than having your data stolen, right? Okay? It's stuff we have to do, unfortunately. Yes, sir.
So if I'm in a Starbucks and they've got free Wi-Fi, I'm better off using the hotspot off my phone?
Yep. I would. I'm using my hotspot off my phone right now for this because I had to get my Google Drive. Not that I don't trust the church. But I also know Father Putnick and Father Simon don't know anything about the internet, right? And if they set up the Wi-Fi here, then I don't, right, it's password, right? Okay? So, you gotta know, why, right? If it's included in my data plan, I know my systems, I know what I do on my systems. Yes, ma'am?
What about if you're staying in a hotel?
Oh, hotels. No. What are you going to use it for, right? If you're going to stream a movie, right? If you're going to do anything sensitive on there, don't do it. Or if your company expects you to do work from there, they better be paying for a VPN or something more secure. Okay? The most dangerous place to be is in Las Vegas during Black Hat. okay? Because everyone's a hacker there, and I would turn off my device and not even turn it on. They're out of control. So you just need to be careful. People, they do that. Hotels are notoriously, thoughtful. If you're just gonna, stream, look at some YouTube videos, or watch the news or whatever, so what factor, right? If you're not clicking on things, so what? Okay? If you're gonna do work, or you're gonna get into, I better check my bank account, or I got some bills to pay. Nope. Okay, absolutely not. Another question?
That was my question, is it just relative to what you're going to do on your laptop, whether or not to get onto a hotel?
Yeah, I mean, there's other things out there about, yes, you probably should never be on it because, you're gonna click, you gotta click on stuff anyways to get to it. Yes, could there be a sophisticated bad guy in a hotel that's masquerading as such? Yes. Are they necessarily gonna go out of their way because there's an easier way to capture all that, right? The issue is that, over probably 90% of the things that we get, bad things happen on the internet is because we click on something, okay? Is there hackers out there that are, looking for exploits and all this other stuff and trying to hack into your machine and go through whatever it may be? Yes. But they're really not attacking, probably not you, okay? Not when all they really need to do is send us an email, okay? I can send this whole room an email, and I just need one of you to click on it. That's why it works, all right? So if I get one person to click on it, I capture their bank account, I drain their account of $5,000. You know how much effort I probably put into that? Less than 20 minutes, if I had the right tools already. Probably. I make $5,000. I could make $5,000 every 20 minutes. That'd be pretty cool, all right? But that's not the way things work. But the bad guys out there are doing that. All right. Feel free to actually talk about it. I can't stress that enough about you need to, when somebody's asking for you something immediately in anything, whether it's the internet, if your phone's ringing, or anything that is, you need to stop and think. Okay, what do they really want? And ask questions, right? My newest battle at home, anybody work for Integra here? Building department? If you do, don't raise your hand. My wife was gonna jump up and, never mind. They called me the other day. Not from a 888 number, I think, right? It's a number I don't know. And they're like, hey, we talked about billing. I'm like, okay. Well, give me your daughter's date of birth. I'm like, no. Like, what? I'm like, no. I don't know who you are, right? You got to ask those questions. Hey, well, wait a second. Why am I giving you this information? Who are you? Just because you call and you say you're from someplace doesn't mean I trust that you're from that place. Okay, that's the way you kind of need to think. Same thing with your computer. Okay, data retention. Okay, Marriott. How many here are Marriott Rewards? Starwood, right? Right. That's 4 years ago. That was breached. Why is Marriott still holding on to our critical data 4 years later? That's the problem. Okay, and that's why hopefully in the next year or two, Congress is going to actually pass a cyber legislation that asks and answers these questions. Why are companies holding on to that? When you go to your doctor and somebody hands you an iPad and says, oh, enter all this information, like your social security number, your date of birth, and everything, you're like, yeah, this is all kind of critical to me. My driver's license and my health history, and then we get Anthem, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and OPM, and everybody else. Oh, we got breached. All your information's gone. Why are you holding my information that long? Okay? When you go to your doctor's office, do you think they have a sophisticated IT staff? Okay? Ask those questions. Ask them, what are you doing with my data? How long are you holding on to it? And where are you storing it? They're going to look at you like, what? Okay? But that's the questions until we start asking those as consumers. They're not going to change their ways. Okay? But this is stuff that's critical to us. Yes, sir?
How secure is the cloud?
Okay, the cloud. So, back to the ransomware talk, right? Backing up your data. What's critical to you on that machine? Okay? So to me, the only thing that we have critical on our home machine is our photos. All right, so I have a removable drive. If I remember, I download it once in a while. But if you leave this piece of storage connected and your machine gets hit with ransomware and gets encrypted, everything attached to that device is also encrypted. Okay, so that just became useless because I forgot to unplug the backup, right? So you can go to the cloud, okay? What are you storing in the cloud, right? Where is it being stored? So you got to ask those questions, especially for those who own a business. Where's my information being stored? What happens? How quickly can I get to that? Am I violating any U.S. laws, especially if you're a clear defense contractor, because the data is being stored outside the United States? Okay, those are all questions. You just got to ask a lot of questions. What's your policy on me retrieving it? Is it encrypted? Is it encrypted in transit? Okay, all these different questions, but part of it is the so what, right? If I'm backing it up and I'm putting it out there in the cloud because I don't want my pictures lost, okay, it is safe. Okay, you're going to probably pay for it though. You're going to pay a couple bucks for the cloud or Amazon Web Services or Microsoft Services or whatever it may be. I can't tell you which ones are good and which ones are bad. But you got to know what you're getting, right? You need to ask those questions. So putting something in the cloud is okay. Would I put other documents that are more critical to me in the cloud? Probably not. Because why is it so big, the files on, you know, like last time we did a refi on a home mortgage, you know, log into the site one time and download these docs, right? I put those in a folder and encrypt it. Okay, if I forget the encryption, well, nobody's getting to that file. But why would I need to push that to the cloud necessarily? I can put that on a thumb drive, remove it from my computer, you know, we're good to go. So the cloud is safe depending on but you got to ask yourself, what are you doing on it? Where are you storing it? Are you going with the cheapest vendor, especially if you're a company? And you got to ask those questions because they are working for you. What am I getting out of this at the end of the day? Okay, what happens if you disappear as a cloud service because I went with the no-name guy, right? And where's my data being stored also? You got to kind of ask a lot of those questions as a consumer. Real quick before I get to you, I keep losing my train of thought on this. One of the best things about the internet, right, is if something happens bad to people, they're going to go on the internet and they're going to tell you about it, right? Use the internet to your advantage. If you're going to buy something, whether it's a car, or you're going to go to a restaurant, or you're going to go whatever, or you want to know if it's a scam or a bad product, go to the internet, type it in. Type in problems, scam, whatever. Because if people got had, they're going to go online, they're going to tell you all about it. Okay? All right? Sometimes they go on there and say nice things, right? Like Yelp. I use Yelp once in a while. Man, if I have a bad experience, I'm on Yelp real quick, right? Like, hey, they were rude. I want people to know that's not the way a customer needs to be treated. But I try to go on there and say, hey, had a great meal here, right? Use the internet to your advantage. It's the same thing with, you just asked about, the cloud. If you're thinking about going with a certain vendor or a certain product, put it on there. See what everybody else is saying, okay? Because they're going to tell you, use it to your advantage. Sir?
Oh, before you were talking, I think with regard to the cloud, and you were saying, is it encrypted in transit?
Oh, sorry, I'm getting technical. Okay, so encryption is a way of taking a file and basically scrambling it, okay? Or it's not really technical, but that's basically the part of that. So data in storage, critical data should be when it's at rest, meaning it's just sitting there on a server, right? So let's go back to Marriott, right, or Starbucks. If the information was all encrypted, it's the so what factor. If they don't have the encryption key, they can't get into it. Steal it all you want. Good luck in decrypting it, right? Sometimes you can send it in transit, meaning it's moving, and it's encrypted. It slows things down, right? If anybody has encrypted files at home, you gotta have the key, you gotta unlock it, you gotta, do what you're doing, then, lock it back down. It slows things down, so a lot of companies don't do that. But what data that's out there, that's what I mean by, where's your data sitting? When it's sitting with somebody else, how are they storing it? Is it secure there? Have they been breached? Okay? And if it's, if it's encrypted, then the so what factor is, who cares? Because it was encrypted. But if they're storing it in the clear, meaning it's just sitting there as data and anybody can read, if they know the right, access to get into it, then that's where we have problems. Okay?
What's your opinion on monitoring services like Lifeline?
Uh-oh. Okay, I'm no longer an FBI agent. Okay. Okay, you just got, I can't endorse or not endorse any products that are out there. Same thing with credit monitoring services. They have uses, absolutely. Know what you're getting for that, okay? And to ask yourself, is it a convenience fee to have somebody else doing this? Or can I run my own credit, okay? So you can use them, they're not, yes, they're out there, they're a company, they're out there to make a buck, but they provide a service also. There's some that are very, I think, good. Make sure they're legit, okay? Because remember, now you are giving somebody else all your critical data so that they can monitor you, okay? I can't just tell them, hey, Todd, Carol, they're gonna go ahead and monitor me. I'm gonna have to give up a lot of critical information. How are they storing that information, right? Let's go back to, right. So that's the double-edged sword. Because we give it permission, remember, we click and say we agree. Antivirus has access to you at basically a root level, your computer, for it to work, because it's looking for those bad things. So what's the bad guys attacking now? Antivirus, right? If I give you an antivirus that looks too good to be true, it may be, right? So if I can develop a false one, or I can attack an antivirus company and get in at root level, well, I just control your machine, I can do whatever I want, okay? So we have to ask ourselves, what are we trying to accomplish by that? Do we trust that company? They got a good reputation. What are they doing that I can't do? And then you make your mind up from that as a consumer, like, okay, you know. But if you had your identity taken, some of those companies can be very helpful because your information is out there and stuff can be open all over the place. And you may have to look into it. But go into it as, don't just look at an ad and go, oh, that sounds good. Click, ooh, $19.99. It's usually $79.99. Okay? Okay? That's why they draw you in. You just got to make sure you know what you understand and what you are paying for and what you have to give up to get what you need. Okay? And then the thing is, what happens if they're the ones that are responsible for the breach? If your information is taken because they got breached, what does that mean to you? Are they going to give you somebody else's credit monitoring? I mean, it's kind of this, double-edged sword that's out there and everything. So, debit versus credit. Not going to look at you, Mom, but this one's for you, okay? Do not use your debit card unless you're at an ATM. Okay? Period. If you go to Jewel on the way home and you use your debit card and you punch in that code, okay, and I got a key logger on there, or, like what happened at Target, when their network was attached to their HVAC systems, they could turn up and down the heat, okay, and they were able to capture that information. I have access to your money, your real money, okay? If I access your credit card, so what? They send me a bill and I go, I ain't paying that because I didn't purchase that, okay? But if they go into your account and take $200 away, and now you bounce a check, okay? Do not use your debit card unless you're in an ATM. And only go to an ATM that is in a secure location, like at the bank, or one that's in sight, okay? Because there's really sophisticated devices they can put on machines. You swipe your card, it captures that information, it captures your PIN number you put in, okay? That's why you go to legitimate ones, or ones that you got to put a key card in to get inside video cameras, basically stay out of sketchy areas, right? Okay? Don't do that because, you can always fight with a credit card company. You can't fight, you're going to fight with your bank. Well, that wasn't me and I didn't, and file a police report and send it to us and do this. You may get your money back, but you're out that money right now. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
Using your debit card as a credit card.
So you're putting in a PIN number?
No,
Okay.
as long as you don't put in the PIN number.
As long as you're not putting in a PIN number, because that gives you that code. Now, if I have access, now, depends. That money, does it come directly out of your bank account? Or do you get a bill for that? So you put in your debit card and say, I'm going to use it as a credit.
Yeah.
Is the money automatically taken from your bank account?
Yeah, later, it's not immediate.
That's the risk you run.
Okay.
Right? With my credit card, I know it's going to be, they're going to send me a bill, and I got to pay it.
Debit card for you.
Why? What's the difference between, are you getting some kind of bonus by using a debit card versus a credit card? That you gotta ask yourself. No, probably not. Okay? It's another step just to protect yourself.
What about now you've got like recently I've got to get insurance. They won't let you put it on a credit card, but you have to do, they want to be able to take it monthly and they say, so give me your debit card. No, that's for supplemental insurance. No.
Really?
Yeah. And even last year with Blue Cross through Obamacare, same thing. They don't take credit cards. But you have to sign up for something because they don't want to bill you.
It's gotta be an alternative to payment than a debit card. I wouldn't do it. I mean, I know if that's the only thing they'll take, but then you gotta question why. There's gotta be something else you can do, whether it's a withdrawal through your bank, a direct withdrawal or something like that, or you could, I don't know. I'm not familiar with that, but anything where they're asking for, to give up something that takes money directly from your account, scares me, especially when all it takes is, that swipe from that card, right? Pin and chip. If your credit card, your current credit card doesn't have a pin in it or a chip, the nice little gold thing, time probably to get another credit card company, okay? You should be using those, okay? Are they gonna be crackable? Yes. But Europe was using those things years and years before us, okay? But our banks here and credit card companies decided it was, it's going to cost us this versus that, okay? Yes, will it be crackable? And it absolutely will be. And they'll come up with something else, and we'll adjust at that point. But you shouldn't be using any type of where it's just a swipe at this point. Yes, sir?
The only way you could defeat or reduce your risk is just have a small balance in that account.
Well, that's true. Yeah, keep a small balance or something, and
That's all
there might be other ways around it, right? So fine if you want to take whatever and,
So you have
overdraft
two
protection. Nope, if there's no money in it, then the transaction doesn't go through, right? So, all right. That's it. That sign says, "Be careful, this machine has no brain, use your own." Okay? That's the moral of the story today, is that you need to think before you start clicking on things, okay? What didn't I cover, sir?
Just a question, when you can't endorse a product, when you talk about antivirus, can you address Kaspersky and the controversy about that with government agencies?
Right, so the question about Kaspersky as an antivirus, let's see, I got how many days before I retire? All right. Let me put it this way, okay? It's a Russian-owned company. I'm not putting anything by Kaspersky. It's Kaspersky's safe, okay? Just because Best Buy may attach it to your machine, like years ago, I think they were the antivirus. You buy a new machine, hey, here's a free year of Kaspersky. Best Buy, no offense to Best Buy, but they have no idea. They're just, Kaspersky paid them a sum of money to give it to them, okay? Sorry, when it comes to certain things, I buy U.S. products, okay? Okay, I definitely heavily involved in the counterintelligence world, okay? There's products from certain countries, China, but I'm not going to put on my machine, period, okay? Because I know the techniques that they use, potentially. Now, is Kaspersky, I don't know, there's a lot of stories out there and stuff I can't talk about. I wouldn't put it on my machine. This is me, Todd Carroll, U.S. citizen, okay? Consumer, I'm not putting that on my machine. Sure.
Would you use online bill paying?
Yep, we use online bill pay, okay? But I'll tell you what, we use it on a machine that only my wife and I touch, okay? My kids aren't allowed to touch it. My father-in-law definitely is not allowed to touch it. That's for you, Ed. Because you got to understand, what are the people clicking on? What are they doing on that, right? Ahead of time. Is it chock full of stuff that I don't know? We use a machine, that's all we kind of try to limit it to is what are we doing with critical stuff. And it's tough to do, I understand that, because it's the same thing as, we try to use one credit card online for all online purchases, okay? Because if that credit card gets hosed, I don't have to think about, okay, is that our direct pay for this, that, right? Try to separate your credit cards so you understand. Use one online. I get it with the points and the cutoff dates, and it gets very, very confusing. But that's another thing you can do to, so if your credit card gets hosed online, you're not, okay, was that this one, or how many, was it my machine that got taken, or was it the website that got taken? But if I only entered that credit card on that machine, then, okay, I feel pretty good about life, okay? If I don't know, then I got a problem. Same thing with the, online banking. We do online banking on, I think, 3 different sites. One has like a version of 2-factor authentication. Another one has additional passwords, and also another one, it has something unique where it actually, if I don't see a certain image, then I know it's probably a false site. And I log in. I always type the address in, or I have it saved. I never click on an email. I never do, respond to anything that's sent to me. I will go there myself, usually through another browser window, or sometimes another machine, and I'll try to find it out myself, or pick up the old-fashioned way, pick up the phone and ask the question, did you really send this to me, or anything bad happened? So,
So more and more retailers are using touchless pay, because, you can, through your iPhone.
Right.
Or Android, like Apple Pay, you comment on.
So the question was about like Apple Pay, where I can just put my phone up in Starbucks, right? I go up, hey, hit me, so I get the rewards points. What's it linked to, right? And then once again, I have to use the word so what, but the so what factor, right? Am I purchasing everything on there? That Apple Pay, what credit cards are connected to? Do I know what it is? Am I monitoring all the purchases on there so I know what's going on? Most of that stuff is secure. But once again, before you jump in and start using it, make sure you understand the technology, you understand how it happens. How does it store the credit card? Is it encrypted on my phone, or is it a third party that then goes and uses that when I get on my credit card to somebody else? If you're fine with that, because that's the only credit card I use for that, and I look at all my bills all my purchases every month, then you just, that's the thing. Or is it linked to where I keep all my money and, my 401k or something like that? So, yes, sir.
Any difference between using the apps on your phone versus going online to do banking?
So the question is, any difference between using online banking versus your banking app?
Right.
No, you're still running the same type of risk. Like, once again, if I'm setting up some type of attack to capture that, have I taken advantage of an exploit on your phone or on your computer? Okay, so I've got to be able to capture that. But once again, is my bank using something more than just my login and password? Are you using your 2-factor authentication? Have you signed up for that so that, hey, there's something else that needs to come across my device, or something that I have, something I know, and something I have, that extra step to get into that account, right? That's what you got to ask yourself. If it's really easy to get into the account, then it's easy for the bad guys to get into the account also. So you got to ask yourself that. I do online banking. I do it on a device. I also do it on my iPhone. Okay, mainly because of the deposit checks. I mean, that's awesome, right? Take a picture of the check, boom, it's in. I can use the money right away. It's great. But I have multi-factor authentication to get into that. Okay, that's what you should be thinking to yourself when it comes to those critical things. Is, am I putting information in? Am I using something that's multi-factor? It should be difficult for you to get in. Should be a couple steps. If it's not, then maybe you need to question, should I really do it? Okay. And also, is your device working weird? Is you clicked on something you shouldn't have. Or your, kids or grandkids coming over and using your machine and clicking on, who knows what. That's the thing. Maybe get yourself a Chromebook. Well, my wife's a Chromebook. She uses a lot of that just for her stuff and doing a lot of our banking, because that's what we feel comfortable doing, because we know she's the only one that's touched that. My father on him. Sorry. In the back, sir.
The statistics, graphs that showed you there during the presentation, is there anywhere to find those online? I thought they were pretty interesting.
Oh, thank you. So a lot of that, some of that is, people ask, oh, you've been on all this training, whatever, and the FBI gives all stuff. A lot of the stuff, yes, I put this together, but a lot of stuff I just found, some of the stuff I found online, to be honest. FBI.gov is a good place to go to look at different, cyber tips, scams. They'll put stuff up. There will be a link on there for a place called IC3, letter I, letter C, 3.gov. That's our Internet Crime Complaint Center that the FBI runs out of West Virginia. If you're a victim of an online crime, anything, it has anything to do with the internet. Maybe it's, you clicked on something you shouldn't have, or, you got on Craigslist and you sent somebody money that you shouldn't have, right? And you're like, oh boy, I'm kind of embarrassed, okay? Fine, go to IC3.gov, fill out a complaint, okay? If you call me, in the next 17 days, and say, Todd, I got taken online, okay, and your loss is, a couple $100, the FBI is not going to be able to do much for you. Sorry, okay? We have a lot of big things going on in the Chicago division right now, okay, as you can imagine. But if you go to IC3 and you make that complaint, and you add the information they want, maybe it's an email or whatever it is, attachments or whatever you have, they compile all that and they look for similarities. And then what they'll do is send out the police departments, the FBI, local FBI, whatever, all these victims that have similarities, probably this bad guy or this IP address that resides back here in the Chicago area. And now the loss out of all these people is something that I get the U.S. Attorney's Office interested in, okay? So look at that. So it's still worth it to make those, if you get mad or taken online, fill out the complaint, okay? It's worth it. Also at IC3.gov is a lot of different good, useful information about protecting your kids online, about protecting yourself, recent scams, stuff like that. If you want to know what, scams are, like I said, use the power of the internet. Type that in there, go to your, whatever your search engine of choice, type in that and the word scam. It's going to tell you whether or not it's legit or not. Believe me, people, when they get hacked, they love to go online and tell you what happened, okay? Make sure you do that. Use it to your power.
Can you touch a little bit on how you go through the encrypting process?
Okay, encrypting, this is something you really got to study and look at. If you're going to use an encryption tool, you're going to use something that's built into your system, okay? Make sure you understand it, because once you encrypt something, if you didn't do it right, you just encrypted something that you're never going to get back. So I would start with a kind of a useless folder. That's how I did. Trial and error, right? Don't go and encrypt your whole drive. Please don't do that. If you screw that up, you got a brick, right? So, see what if you're going to use something that maybe comes with the Windows that's already built in, or if you're going to get a third party, that you maybe pay for, or something like that. Just make sure you know what you're doing. You don't have to encrypt everything, but maybe those documents that are important to you, you do want to encrypt. Okay, but you better remember that password, because once you do it, it's done. Okay? Yes, sir.
AT&T and ComEd and Nicor always love me to pay my bills electronic.
Yep.
So I save 50 cents in postage. How well, how long is it before they're going to get hacked?
Okay, so once again, back to the so what factor. So ComEd, AT&T, like DirecTV gives me $5 off a month because I go with AutoPay. AT&T does the same thing. You get that little things here and there. Okay, so they charge my credit card, right? Once again, am I looking at my credit card every month? And am I looking at the purchases? Because if they get hacked,
No, it's not a credit card, it's direct to the bank.
I use credit cards. I don't use it. The direct to the bank, because I know what you're talking about, because I tried to sign up for Nicor, I think it was, and they said, like, oh, deals, because they're gas and electric, man, if I get one more call, oh, I'm going to lower your bills or whatever, right? Yes, I want my bills lowered, but I don't know who you are, and I'm not giving you anything. Just because you know my address and my name, you might even know my account number. Big deal. Probably been hacked, right? I don't trust them. Anybody that calls me, sorry, I don't trust you. Okay? It doesn't go for my family, I do trust them. But you're right. I actually try to sign up. I'm like, hey, this is a good deal. They sent me literature. I looked it up online. Blah, 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 blah. I went to sign up for it. They said, it has to come directly out. I said, forget it. Not worth the risk. That was a personal choice. Okay? I'm not saying it's a scam, but anything that takes money directly out of my account, I got a problem with. And that's just me personally. You just got to know the risk. Now, I could have, like my one bank, I can create all the bank accounts I want. I could open a small bank account, just put $50 in there a month, had to take it directly out of there, so what? If it gets taken, I guess I could have done it that way, just gave them that small account, no overdraft. If it gets taken, most I lose is $50, right? I could have done that. That's a way around it, okay? But I just don't feel comfortable right now. If it's direct deposit from or direct charge from my credit card, okay, I'm okay with that. Anything that takes money directly from me, I got a problem with, especially when I don't authorize it on a monthly basis, or I'm not actually handing them something. So, but it's a risk you gotta run, and you gotta think about that, about what they want and what happens, right? If they get hacked, right, and they get my bank account, and I got, you know, vacation money sitting in there, yeah, I'm not gonna be happy. Yes, ma'am.
So how do you pay your credit card?
Online.
But where does the money come from?
But I'm logging into something. I'm not doing it automatically.
Oh, okay.
I do not do any, when it comes to major purchases, I do not do it automatically. Okay? We go in there, well, I don't go in there. My wife goes in there, she pays the bills. She logs in, she does the two-factor authentication, she sets up, and she pays the bills on a monthly basis because she reads each bill and goes, all right, did we do this? Yes, it's a pain in the neck, but we have to do that. Or you run the risk of, boy, my credit card got stolen 3 months ago and I've been actually paying this. And now, hey, Mr. Visa, could you give me a refund of $500 because these weren't my purchases that I already paid for, right? You gotta take that. But no, I don't, you know, charging the credit card, but we actually pay the credit card online. But we use a machine that no one else touches. We use it very limited. We use two-factor authentication, and we read everything that we charge. Okay? Do I still vulnerable? Probably, right? But am I doing it probably better than 80% of the people that are out there? Probably. So somebody really wants it, they probably ever heard the speech, they're probably gonna attack me anyways, and, you know, so. But anyways, that's a joke. Somebody else? Question? All right.
Well, my kids keep telling me to get Venmo, that that's the new way to pay, you know.
Venmo, yeah.
Yeah. And
I know, we have people that-
Crazy, can't you just write me a check or give me cash, I don't care.
Ask your kid if they know how to write a check.
They do well.
Yeah, okay, because they're not learning that in consumer ed, found out. Right. Yeah, there's a lot of payment, you know, where you can just think, oh, what's your account or whatever. I guess we're getting there, right, to the day, like, you know, before we said, I'm never paying bills online, right? I'm not doing this, I'm never gonna have a cell phone, you know, no, you know, I've got 2 phones on me, I do things online, whatever it is. Yes, but you gotta, what is it, how's it, you know, before you sign up for anything, and I'm not familiar enough with Venmo, because I don't have any type of, you know, but people at work ask me when they owe me money, hey, I don't carry cash, can I just, and I'm like, no, I take cash, right? Cash only, right? That's what I want. I don't even want checks, you know, and geez, if you pay me in change, I don't know what to do with change, right? Just stored in my door in my car. But the fact is that if you're gonna sign up for one of those things, understand what it is, but that's also part of the, if your kids are doing it, do they understand what they're doing? Have them explain it to you. Hey, if you can explain it to me and tell me what the pitfalls are, we'll do it. Okay? But if you're just doing it because everybody else is doing it, then we ain't doing it. Right? Because you're just setting yourself, you don't understand what your recourse is.
Is there any concern about these Alexa machines?
Oh, Alexa machine. So, hey Alexa, you know, turn on my lights. Alexa, do whatever. Hey Alexa, are you listening to everything I say? Can the bad guys turn that on? Same thing with your laptops. Do you have a sticky note over your camera? You better. Okay, well, it depends. I mean, if you're just sitting there typing, but if you like to type when you're comfortable, or in bed, or whatever, you're not going to go to there, then you better have something over there, because, yeah, there's malware out there that can turn your camera and your microphone on. Why can't I do that with Alexa? Okay? If your Wi-Fi is not secure, now back to are you securing your Wi-Fi, or is it wide open? Okay, are you using password as your password? Okay? These are all things that I can use to exploit to turn on your microphone. That thing is always listening because you have to say, hey Alexa, right? So it's listening to every word until you say, hey Alexa, okay? Same thing with, hey Siri. Oops, my phone turned off, right? So, and actually, it did. Okay? So that thing's listening to everything I say. My father-in-law said he's listening. Yes,
You
ma'am.
mentioned a landline before, that you're going to say why you still have landlines.
Why?
No.
I don't know why we have landline.
Well, you said you were going to tell us why.
Well, you'd ask my wife why we still have one. She just says we have to have one because schools and stuff have that number. It's a running
And
argument.
nothing for
I don't know why we have it, to be honest, because it's not really a landline. AT&T, when they said landline, they gave me a cell device that operates off, so it doesn't matter. Cell towers go down, it's still not a landline. Just because I have a physical phone in my house, right, doesn't mean anything, because it's not really hooked up to the phone lines. Okay, I do not have a phone line in my house. Okay, but I call it a landline because it's not something we carry around. I guess I could carry around this device, because I could take it with me on the road and somebody call me at home, and technically we're not at home, right? So, yes, sir.
When I use Google News to read the news,
Yeah.
at the bottom it's usually, 15 things a senior ought to know, or great places to move.
Right. Okay.
You click on those, is there a,
Well, so you brought up an interesting thing, right? So he says he's on Google News, and how many times do you go to a website and it's, you go to a department store website and it's stuff for you, a male or a female, depends who uses the browser more often, and your age group. You're like, wow, this just happens to be. No. Okay? Your computer is constantly, and your device are constantly collecting information on you. Because that's how it is, right? Nobody's giving you anything for free. They're collecting information on you and selling it. Google, what's their thing? Do no harm, right? Is that Google? Right? They're not doing it. They don't think they're doing any harm. But what they're doing is collecting information about you and selling it. That's how they make money. Why Google doesn't cost anything, but they turn around and sell it to whatever, Kohl's or whatever else other ad agencies that are out there, so that when you click on them, they'll know everything about you, right? That you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you like to look at these websites, you're of this age category, you've been thinking about going to Hawaii, you've been thinking about, whatever, okay? That's why it's not a coincidence that you get certain emails. It's not a coincidence when you go on that you have the browser and the ads that are on there are about stuff you're interested in, okay? When I was taking a lot of security classes online, every ad on my side of my browser was about SANS, which is an online security course. Why? Because my browser information is being captured. Can you stop that? It has to do with cookies and browser history, and yes, you can erase all that, stuff like that. They're still going to get through, okay? But that's what it's about. It's all about somebody on the other end, right? Remember the internet? Do no harm, rainbows and unicorns? No. Bad guys and making money. Okay? Bad guys are out there trying to take our information, and companies out there trying to make information because they want to steer you towards their product. Right? Right? When you type into Google or Yahoo, I should pick up Google, AOL, whatever it is, Bing, and you type in whatever, there's a reason it lands on the first page, certain results. Okay? That's where you want to be. If you have a business, you want to be on first page. You don't want to be on page 14. Nobody makes it to page 14 before they buy something, right? Page 1, 2 if you're lucky, right? You're going to click on something, you're going to go there, okay? They're making money, okay? You got to understand that. They're making money. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just the way things are, right? You still get the mail, right? You still get catalogs. They're sending you mail. They're sending you, using their money as a company to market that. Now they're taking some of that money, instead of sending you a catalog, and they're putting it towards internet advertising, okay? That's why things don't, remember we used to pay for, like AOL, we get the discs and weird stuff like that, right? Okay? It's evolving. Is there a question over here? Okay. Yes, sir.
Regarding passwords, my wife and I have a on our hard drive that we use to store some of our passwords.
Is it encrypted?
No.
Is it additional password? Anything that you've done to secure that? What's your email account? Print it out. Okay, or encrypted. Encrypted so you have to remember one password. Okay? But figure out what you're doing. Like I said before, what you're doing encryption. If it's on your machine and your machine gets hosed or I can get on it, then I got all your passwords, okay? You know, I would probably, you know, like, people are like, I can't believe you write down all your passwords, because they say don't write down your passwords, right? All my passwords are completely different. So, because there's actually something out there I can go on the web, and I can buy, I don't have to buy it, I think I can download it for free, that if I can get one of your passwords, I can put in your information, and it'll go to most common websites and use a variation of your password, and probably guess your other passwords. Okay, so if you're out there using, well, I use Bears #1, Bears, you know, 85, Bears, you know, number 34, right? It's too common. It's too close to each other. If you're using any type of variation, so you can guess them, because you're like, hey, I can remember that, you know, don't. Okay, use complex passwords for the things that count. Now, if that password file is for all those things we talk about that we don't care about, right? About your Travelocity and whatever it is that you don't have anything that's really worth it, except that it has your name and maybe some past travel, but doesn't have credit card information or anything on there. The so what factor, right? But if it's got your stuff that's really critical to you, you know, then you want to get that off there, please. Okay. All right, one last question.
Is the FBI.gov an excellent website for summary of all these tips in one place?
Oh boy, I don't know, I didn't look together. The question was, is FBI.gov a good summary for a lot of these tips? There is a lot of good stuff on there. I don't know if it has all this stuff. This was recorded, correct? And it's going to be on something? Yes?
It's currently on YouTube now, we're streaming
awesome.
live, which as soon as we end, it will be a recording then. And I also am recording it with my video camera, which I'll post later. I'll send it out in the flock on Monday, so. And that is safe, I promise you I won't send you that.
Okay, last thing I just want to address real quick is because I know the reason why I'm here is because of what happened, okay? Because, you know, the email went out, you know, and it wasn't Father Evans requesting, you know, assistance. You know, we sent it, a lot of people, you know, came in here, and that's good that the parish was, you know, pretty much immediate aware, because there's enough people in this room that were here in our parish that care and wanted to help out, okay? But it's one of those things that, what would Father Evans need to do with iTunes cards, okay, right? You gotta think about that, but I'm glad that people, when you see something unusual like that, you gotta say something, right? You gotta call that company and say, hey, you know that this is out there about you, or, hey, Father, you know, really need iTunes cards, right? We really need that, because we have to ask those questions, and we have to question what's out there. Same thing with, you know, we're questioning our data retention. How are you storing this information? Why do you have that information? Why do you need to know that? I remember we used to, you know, yell, why do you cashier individual need to know? I'm sorry, Domex, right, back in the day. Why do you need to have my driver's license information on my check? Right? Why do you need that additional information because about this? Okay, why do you need direct money, access to my money, so that I get this discount? Right? You got to question, why do they want that information? Okay? Please think that way. Please question things. Please think about it, but still be trusting people that you are. Because that makes the world great. And hopefully, you know, this went well. I appreciate your patience, and this went a lot longer than I thought. But you know, I'll be around. I usually go to 4:30 Mass. Be happy to grab me anytime if you have any additional questions. All right. Thank you.
I want you to know I do value my life, and if I take these cookies to the parish tomorrow, my coworkers will kill me. So please take some. I have some baggies here. You can take some home. You can take them to lunch tomorrow.
Yeah.
Have a great night. Take care, everybody.
I almost missed it because of my hot water heater. I was thinking, oh, I got to work this.
All right, we have a YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search St. Thomas the Apostle Church, and you will find our channel. You'll see our beautiful picture, and this video will be posted almost immediately.
Yeah.
How do they encrypt the form?
Yeah, it's a special program that encrypts your